And guys, today is February 3rd. And actually 1 year ago today, I just saw on Facebook this morning that we were at the Super Bowl, which is pretty cool down in Miami, getting a chance to enjoy that. And that was pre-pandemic. That was before all hell broke loose, and we got this pandemic stuff going on. But guys, we're going to talk really about three main things today. There's three parts to this. I want to share with you our not new anymore, it's about 4 or 5 months old, but our YouTube channel. I want to talk to you about a little sneak preview of our new career spotlight and show you a piece of that, a specific piece, because I want you to understand your opportunity really, really well. And then finally, I want to share with you guys exactly how to be successful in this life. So anybody interested in being even more successful than you currently are? Anybody into that?
Chase is.
Chase is into
Sign me
it.
up.
Thank you. I love the verbal feedback. It helps me. So guys, let me share this with you real quick. This is we've got a really, really cool YouTube channel. And the way you access it is if you just go to YouTube and you type in Globe Life, Davenport, and Schneider. By the time you get halfway through Davenport, you'll find our channel. Okay. And it's a public channel. You can get in there and get this stuff. And guys, every time that you're on one of these Zooms and you hear someone, hey, hold on while I record this, this is what's happening. Okay. And we've been doing this since last September. We finally woke up and said, man, we got some really well-planned meetings that we're doing. And sometimes the exact one person or 2 or 3 people that were really wanting to hear this had an enrollment or had a sick kid or wasn't on, and they completely missed it. And it's just a great moment that's just lost in the ether. And we thought, man, why don't we record this thing and just make a YouTube channel and just stick them on there, and everybody can use them for all of eternity. And so we did. And Nicole, once we get done recording, Nicole hops on, she grabs it, and then about once a week, we'll take 4 or 5 of these and load them up. But guys, going back to just so you guys know what's on there, I'm not going to watch any of these, but I want you to see exactly what you have available to you anytime you want. Okay. One would be using the quarterly VPF on the stat site to achieve your goals and set goals. That's a 42-minute video showing exactly how to set it up, how to use it, how to set goals. It's pretty boss. Adapt and Thrive, Selling from Home by Sean Rivas as a guest speaker. Let's see, we had Selling During COVID, Selling Over the Competition. I believe that was probably Trish. She does a heck of a job of that. She did that again yesterday with over 4,000 in premium, and last week in 2 days sold 7,000 in premium selling over the competition. Effective use of the rebuttals. Rebuttals work, guys. They don't if you don't use them, but they do if you do. Trish's Tricks of the Trade, Dealing with Objections, The Power of Referrals. That's Kate Rate. She's actually a person that a lot of us have hired to teach us how to get referrals, and we've got her Zoom recorded right there. Zach did a great one on the Protect One Family website and the B2B Success Manual. The Transition to the Close, arguably one of the most important parts of the sale, is in there. Dealing with Rejection, the future and the current value of renewals. Building the Need by Brad Phillips. Field Training and Field Recruiting by Kyle Schneider. Guys, this is gold. How your decisions impact your success. Monday Morning Meeting here. Why people buy our products. How to do an effective group presentation. Social media and working with friends. How to use that as a recruiting tool. Back to the Basics. Always a great one topic. Building a field recruiting culture. Maximizing using SalesRabbit, our CRM. That was one that Josiah did for us. Another Monday Morning Meeting in here. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Got a little heavy fingered there. Let's see, Empathy, Vulnerability, Edification, how to edify a third-party expert properly to get that person you're talking to fired up to hear about the opportunity. We had a guest speaker at George Zimney, which was a great call. Highly encourage that one. How to Properly Show the Benefits by Zach. Price Build Up through the Transition and Close. The Fortunes and the Follow-Up, How to Have a Big Week. Guys, next week is Train More 2. You want to have a big week, go on here and hop on and watch this 23-minute and 55-second meeting that was done. And Kyle went specifically how to have a rock star week the upcoming week. So it's already Wednesday. You probably don't want to wait and watch that on Saturday because there's some stuff you want to do this week to prepare for it. So I would encourage you to watch that one tonight. Trust and integrity, referral selling, the most important ingredient of leadership, challenges and types of something. It cuts everything off, but if you click on it, it'll show you the full deal. Edification, referrals, problem solving with Todd Stiles, and Nicole does a great job of putting cool little visuals with each of these too. Marketing our products with Ken Duggins. What you see determines what you can be. Getting field recruits to the next step. How to discard annualized thinking and get results now, early in the year, not getting behind and struggling to play catch up all year. The importance of using the scripts, 7 financial goals you should reach in your 20s. That was a really good one. It's something I've read online. Progress, not perfection. Aflac versus family heritage. Getting prepared for train wars. Ooh, another good one by Kyle let's watch tonight, and get really prepared for a rock solid record-breaking train war next week. Selling over Zoom, bringing referrals to Zoom. Your financial opportunity, importance of field recruiting. And then the last few here are why you need to use your personal network to recruit, success factors, how to increase your number of demos. So guys, if you're not getting 30 demos, that's a good one to go back and review at least once a week until you start getting 30 demos. The value of 30 demos. Man, I did back-to-back ones where I was talking about demos. Must be important. And then Rob McLean's demo that he recorded back on the 15th of January is on there too. So guys, Rob McLean sold almost $300,000 of premium last year, almost exclusively over Zoom. As soon as the pandemic hit, he kind of shifted gears, early adapter, learned it, and boom, he's recorded that so you can watch. We got a few that have been recorded from Rachel too that just need to get posted as well. So it's a great tool. Awesome tool. Hey guys, any questions about how to get to this? All you do is just, again, it's Globe Life, Davenport Schneider Agencies. There's 7 subscribers. I hope all of you guys will subscribe and we can have 37 subscribers this time tomorrow. But guys, it's a wonderful tool, but just like any tool, you can't drive a hammer into some wood you can't drive a nail into wood if the hammer is in your toolbox. You have to take it out and use it to get that nail in. And just like this, guys, for you to develop, you've got to use the tools that we have available to us. This is not something that has to be spoon-fed to you. If you have to have it spoon-fed to you, then that's an employee mindset. But if you get on your own, you get inspired on your own to develop your own skill set, that's where the rubber meets the road, and that's where success happens. So any questions about the YouTube channel? All right, guys, I'm going to shift gears then and go and share with you guys a little sneak peek. I've been getting a lot of requests about this new career spotlight that we recorded over a week's time back in the first week of January. It's been in production for the last 3.5 weeks, and we're pretty excited about it. And I'm going to share with you a part right now on the financial opportunity and our compensation plan. 1, because I want you to see part of our career spotlight. I'm excited about it. But 2, I really want you to have a review of your current opportunity, because you're already here. So we're not trying to recruit you to come work with us. We're just what I'm trying to do is help you understand the value of what you do today. And it's kind of a bird's eye view, but enjoy this. It's a little Vimeo video, and it is, I don't know, it's like 8 minutes long or something like that. So 9 minutes long. So hope you enjoy. And here we go. Position. We're looking for people who, I'll go back to the beginning. Here we go. So let's talk about compensation. We are absolutely a performance-based compensation plan. So yes, long-term, this is a commission position. We're looking for people who want to get paid what they're worth. However, we do offer a performance-based guarantee plan that increases a person's short-term cash flow while they're in the first phase of their career and learning our system. After a person's through that training phase of their career, and once they're confident in their own abilities, they decide when to transition to full commission. Like we said, we're looking for someone that wants to be paid what they believe they're worth, not based on what someone else determines their time to be worth, or any other limiting variable that are established by someone else that ultimately put a cap on how much you can earn. If you're the type of person that's more comfortable knowing what your paycheck's going to be every 2 weeks, that's okay, but you're probably not a fit for this position. We're looking for someone that's excited about the unlimited earning potential of a performance-based compensation plan while selling something that really matters. Here's an example of how it works. Again, we go into much more detail on the compensation packet we'll send you. This is the quick and simple version. If you average 1 sale per day, taking 4 weeks of vacation per year, our average rep makes $77,000 in their first year. If you average selling 1.5 sales per day as a new rep, you're going to make $99,000. And if you average 2 per day, you're going to make over $140,000 your first year. And that's just the commission part. Those numbers don't take into account bonuses, stock, incentives, or trips. So an important question to ask yourself is this: do I typically perform average, slightly below average, or above average? Because how you typically perform at other things is probably how you'll perform here. We have multiple representatives working out of our offices that have earned well into 6 figures in their first year, and over 95% of our reps have no previous experience in our industry. The reason why we emphasize out of our offices is because there are a lot of sales-driven companies that will reference examples of people that have made X amount, but what they don't always tell you is that they're referring to the top 1% in the nation. People working out of other offices 5 states away who have very little to do with their culture and their people. The examples we are sharing are people who work out of our local offices, people who have been trained, developed, and mentored by our leadership team. We're happy to introduce you, give you their phone number, and if it makes sense at that step in the process, have you shadow one of them live in the field. But another great example of one of our top performers is Zach Tolbert. Zach left a near 6-figure salary-based job as a route salesman to start a career with us. He was tired of working harder each year and being rewarded by an even higher quota to hit the following year just to have a 5 to 10% pay increase. Not to mention being told when he could and more often when he couldn't take time off because he might not hit the numbers they assigned him. He came here because he wanted the opportunity to make 2, 3, and ultimately 5 times more by building a business where he was in control over not just his income, but his life. Now, he's not only encouraged to take amazing vacations, but they're also paid for by the company. In fact, Zach was rewarded with 3 company-paid vacations in his first year alone. Now, that's definitely above average, but it's certainly not record-breaking either. Let's move on to bonuses and incentives. Our reps earn anywhere from $500 to $5,000 in cash bonuses each month. Most of our reps' vacations are completely paid for by the company. And that's a pretty fun place to be where, like in Zach's case, we encourage meaningful time off and pay for those trips as well. One of those incentives trips each year is to either Mexico, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, or the Bahamas, someplace tropical in the Caribbean, typically when it starts to get cold in November. We also have a national sales meeting in 5-star hotels or resorts. Just an example of some of the spots we've been to recently are Seattle, San Antonio, Boston, New York, Miami, Chicago, Los Angeles, Orlando, Denver, and San Diego. Some pretty fun spots all over this great country. We're exclusive brokers of Globe Life Family Heritage Division, and that name's important. Family is really important to us. Our company trips are all designed with families in mind. All of our national meetings have a 2-to-1 ratio of fun vacation days to work days. So most reps bring their families with them, and it's a work/vacation trip, so it's completely paid for by the company. Lastly, we have not 1, but 2 retirement plans. The first is a residual income stream. We don't just get paid when we make a sale one time, because if you're going to do all that hard work to bring new business in, why not get paid every month the client pays their premium? As an example, our average client stays on the books for over 10 years, which is 3 times the industry average. Our return of premium, by the way, has a lot to do with the long-term nature of our client base. We get paid for the life of each policy, meaning we get paid each and every month someone pays for their policy. So by your 3rd, 4th, 5th year, your income goes up every single year, even if your sales production stays flat from one year to the next, because you have another year's worth of renewals stacking on top of your income stream overall. It's a big deal. You're fully vested in 5 years, so when you walk away from Family Heritage, you can take your book of business and every penny that it will produce going forward with you. Our vesting schedule starts at 2 years and you're 100% vested after 5 years. Meaning if you retire or you don't work here for any reason, you're still getting paid every single month for every single sale you've made for the life of your career. That's a willable asset, which can be passed on to your spouse and future generations. Making a lot of money and actually being wealthy are not necessarily the same thing. Here, you can earn a lot of income, but in the process, truly build generational wealth. The second part of our retirement program is Globe Life stock shares. Take some time to look up GL on the New York Stock Exchange or on Yahoo Finance. From day one, you're able to earn stock in the company and the benefits from our growth. We have always valued being owners in the company, not just employees. That's what we mean when we talk about getting paid what you're worth and being rewarded like an owner. So now that we've covered the compensation and the basics of how the money works, I think it's important to take a step back and talk about the significance money makes possible. Because money's just money beyond what we do with it. And one of the things that's really important to us is not just experiencing financial success, but taking that success and turning it into significance. And significance can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. You know, one of the big things I think that significance means for some of us and a lot of us in our business is giving. The ability to support the people and the charities we believe in. One of the questions we ask ourselves consistently is, are we making a difference in the lives of others? Are we really making a difference? Not just with what we do professionally, because obviously it does. Not just in the lives of agents that we partner with, because we certainly do that as well. But are we making a difference in the world around us? Are we making a difference in the community? That's a core value. Here are some of the charities and causes that are important to us and that we support and feel passionately about as a group. St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Matter of fact, the company has hosted 2 different company meetings in Memphis, Tennessee, and allowed us to tour the facilities at St. Jude's, which was very special. Speaking of special, the Special Olympics is another charity that we really get passionate about. The Make-A-Wish Foundation, and a personal one for me, is a scholarship that we've created for the School of Communication Studies at my alma mater, University of North Carolina at Wilmington. And something that's just we're crazy excited about is building a house for Johnny, our maintenance man who takes care of our Wilmington office and some various coastal properties that this career has made possible. Another important aspect of significance is lifestyle and the experiences that we're able to have and make possible for the people that we care about the most. Again, money's just money. It's what we do with it that counts. We have a lot of people that have really leveraged their career and their businesses here to have some extraordinary experiences and live an extraordinary lifestyle. That's a big part of who we are and what we do, making the extraordinary lifestyle possible. Here are some of the things that our team has done with that extraordinary flexibility and freedom that when our job is done right, it can provide. Zach Tolbert and his wife Trinity were able to take a week-long trip to Jamaica, followed by another week in Phoenix, where Trinity's family lives, for her birthday. It meant the world for her to be able to spend that special time with her mom and her siblings. This is Josiah Carr. He and his girlfriend Lydia were able to take a week-long camping and mountain biking trip to Moab, Utah, spend a week on a fun incentive trip in Clearwater, Florida, and even shoot down to Austin, Texas to visit some cousins for a fun-filled long weekend at Halloween. TJ Clark and his wife Jessica were able to take 2 vacations to Florida and another fun side trip to Myrtle Beach in his first 12 months here. And that's after going without a single vacation for over 3 solid years in his previous job. That's pretty awesome. As you can see, lifestyle is a big part of why people choose a career with us. I have plenty of friends that make a ton of money, but have no time to enjoy it. I have other friends who have all the time in the world, but don't really have the funds to enjoy it without creating a mountain of credit card debt. A career with Globe Life Family Heritage makes both of those worlds intersect in a beautiful way. So, guys, what do you think?
That was
That's
first
awesome,
time
Van.
That was great.
Makes me want to go on vacation.
There you go. Right? We, guys, it's people that work right now when the weather's kind of crappy and cold or hot or whatever it is that get to go and enjoy those vacations. So, yeah. So that's been a labor of love. It's been over a month in the making now. And we literally hope to have the final product out hopefully today or tomorrow, definitely by the end of the week. So it's amazing how many little tweaks that there are and things like that. But guys, let me just pause for a second. Were there any stuff that you guys noticed or that jumped out at you that were like, oh, wow, I do have a pretty cool opportunity. I forgot about that.
The cool people we get to work with.
The cool people we get to work with. Absolutely. Nick Canatomo, I see you're on.
I was as far as I think about the stock, I mean, investments, to help your future out even more.
Yep. We own stock. I mean, we get stock literally when you hit 30,000 in premium, you get $500 of Torchmark stock. You do that every month. That's $6,000 a year just for that, not even including what you can get for leadership. And we are a Fortune 600 company. I mean, literally just outside of Fortune 500, looking in and gaining every year on that. Anybody else? Any BFOs, the blinding flash of the obvious? Ooh.
Giving back to the community.
Giving back to the community, guys. It's kind of fun to be a part of people that are successful and then choose to be significant for others, without a doubt. So, guys, here's the deal. I made you a promise on Voxer this morning. I said I was going to share with you the secret of every man or every woman who's ever been successful. And I'm going to take about 10 minutes here at the end, and I'm going to share it with you. And I hope, guys, that you'll stay on till the end. I also hope that you'll grab a pen and paper, and I hope you'll jot down some notes. And I hope you'll utilize the 3x5 note card, a great thing too, where you can put some key quotes or key things that you hear, that and a little piece of Scotch tape, and all of a sudden, boom, you got yourself a sign in your office. You know what the office I'm talking about? The office on 4 wheels that you drive around all day. Because guys, we make our good decisions or our bad decisions typically sitting in that office in our car. When we decide to open the door and get out and go see another person and put ourselves out there to get shot down, or we decide to sit down, just sit in our car and mess around on social media for an hour and kill some time until our next appointment. It's been said that success is just a good decision made every day, and failure is just a bad decision made over and over every day. So guys, again, I hope you'll take some good notes on this. And guys, if this is the 14th time that you've read this, I hope you'll listen even more intently with a very open mind, because every time I read this, and I read this yesterday, and it was probably the 300th time I've read this in my life, I always like to go back after I read this and delete the highlighted parts. And guys, you're going to see as we go through this, I mean, there's almost as much in here that's highlighted as not highlighted, because there are so many absolutely amazing nuggets in this. So I hope you'll jot down some nuggets, and I hope you'll share one of them when we get done. But let me just share with you guys the common denominator of success. Okay. This is as timely and inspirational as it was when it was first delivered back in 1940, guys, 81 years ago. Though it was written for life insurance professionals, which we happen to be, its message is equally well suited for anyone in the sales profession or anyone in any field or endeavor who seeks success in their professional, personal, or spiritual lives. The inspiring message by Mr. Gray is one of the most timeless pieces of life insurance literature. It first appeared in a major address to the NALU, which is the National Association of Life Underwriters annual convention in Philadelphia, again, 81 years ago. And it's been available to association members in pamphlet form ever since. Some of you guys own that in pamphlet form, and I have a dozen of them in the office if anyone would like one. Although our author has passed away, his words of wisdom and moving philosophy, so manifest in the common denominator of success, are part of the current life insurance scene and of real meaning for today's professional insurance salespeople. Mr. Gray is an officer of the Prudential Insurance Company of America, and was there over 30 years of continuous service as both an agent in the field and as a promoter and instructor in sales development. So he walked the walk. He did the deal. He was known throughout the country as a writer and speaker of life insurance subjects. So here we go, guys. I give you the common denominator of success. Several years ago, I was brought face to face with the very disturbing realization that I was trying to supervise and direct the efforts of a large number of men who were trying to achieve success without knowing myself what the secrets of success really was. And that naturally brought me face to face with the further realization that regardless of what other knowledge I might have brought to my job, I was definitely lacking in the most important knowledge of all. Of course, like most, I had been brought up with the popular belief that the secret to success is hard work. But I've seen so many men work hard without succeeding, and so many men succeed without working hard, that I'd become convinced that hard work was not the real secret, even though in most cases it might be one of the requirements. Okay. And so I set out on a voyage to discover which which carried me through biographies and autobiographies and all sorts of dissertations on success and the lives of successful men, until I finally reached a point at which I realized that the secrets I was trying to discover lay not only in what men did, but also in what made them do it. It's huge. I realized further that the secret for which I was searching must not only apply to every definition of success, but since I must apply to everyone whom it was offered, all of us, it must also apply to everyone who's ever been successful. In short, I was looking for the common denominator of success. And because that's exactly what I was looking for, that's exactly what I found. But the common denominator of success is so big, so powerful, so vitally important to your future and mine. I'm not going to make a speech about it. I'm just going to lay it on the line in words of one syllable, so simple that anyone can understand them. The common denominator of success, the secret of success of every man or woman who's ever been successful, lies in the fact that he or she formed the habit of doing the things that failures don't like to do. Guys, if you want to screenshot that right there or write it as fast as you can, that is the deal. It's just as true as it sounds, and it's just as simple as it seems. You can hold it up to the light, you can put it to the acid test, you can kick it around until it's worn out, but when you're all through with it, it will still be the common denominator of success, whether you like it or not. It will still explain why men have come into this business of ours with every apparent qualification for success and given us our most disappointing failures. Who's had a guy that's, he's going to be awesome at this, and then he quits after 3 days because he just peters out? While others have come in and achieved success in spite of many obvious and discouraging handicaps. And since it will also explain your future, it would seem to be a mighty good idea for you to use it in determining just what sort of future you're going to have. In other words, let's take this big all-embracing secret and boil it down to fit the individual you. If the secret of success lies in forming the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do, let's start the boiling down process by determining what are the things that failures don't like to do. The things that failures don't like to do are the very things that you and I and other human beings, including successful people, naturally don't like to do. In other words, we've got to realize right from the start that success is something which is achieved by the minority of people. And therefore, it's unnatural. And it's not to be achieved by following our natural likes or dislikes. And it's not going to, or nor being guided by our natural preferences or prejudices. Okay. The things that failures don't like to do in general are too obvious for us to discuss them here. And so since our success is to be achieved in the sale of supplemental insurance, let us move on to discuss the discussion of the things that we as supplemental insurance salespeople don't like to do. Here too, the things that we don't like to do are too many to permit specific discussion. Guys, we could probably talk for an hour about the things we don't like to do, right? But I think they can all be disposed of by saying that they all emanate from one basic dislike, particular to our type of selling. Jot this one down, guys. We don't like to call on people who don't want to see us. And we don't like to call on them and talk to them about something that they don't want to talk about, right? Any reluctance to follow a definite prospecting program, to use prepared sales talks, to organize our time, and to organize effort are all caused by this one basic dislike. We don't like to call on people who don't want to see us and talk to them about something they don't want to talk about. Perhaps you've wondered, guys, there's a lot to unpack just in that first page. Well, I guess 2 pages. But perhaps you've wondered what's behind this particular lack of welcome on the part of our prospective buyers. Isn't it due to the fact that our prospects are human too? And isn't it true that the average human being is not big enough to go out and buy life insurance or cancer insurance on his or her own accord, and therefore is prone to escape our efforts to make him bigger or persuade him to do something he doesn't want to do by striking at the most important weakness that we possess, namely our desire to be appreciated. Okay? That's what people do. That's their defense mechanism, is striking at our desire to be appreciated by not appreciating us. Perhaps you've been discouraged by feelings, discouraged by a feeling that you were born subject to certain dislikes peculiar to you, with which the successful men in our field or business are not afflicted. Perhaps you've wondered why it is that our biggest producers seem to like to do the things that you don't like to do. Guess what, guys? They don't. And this is one of the most I think this is the most encouraging statement I've ever offered to a group of supplemental insurance salespeople. But if they don't like to do these things, then why the heck do they do them? Because, another noteworthy part, guys, by doing the things they don't like to do, they can accomplish the things that they want to accomplish. Successful people are influenced by the desire for pleasing results. Failures are influenced by the desire for pleasing methods and are inclined to be satisfied with such results as can be obtained by doing things they like to do. Guys, it's more pleasurable to go out today and do 2 demos than to do 7. But which one's going to get better results?
7.
But
7
right on. So you got to go ahead and go, all right, pleasing method of 2 or 3 or 4 demos is going to get me an unpleasing result. An unpleasing method, because I'm going to have to work harder to get 6, 7, 8 demos, is going to give me a pleasing result. Okay? Why are successful men able to do things they don't like to do while failures are not? Because successful people have a purpose strong enough to make them form the habit of doing things they don't like to do in order to accomplish the purpose they want to accomplish. Sometimes even our best producers get into a slump. Anybody been in a slump? I know I have. When a person goes into a slump, it simply means that he or she has reached a point at which, for the time being, the things he or she doesn't like to do have become more important than their reasons for doing them. And may I pause to suggest that to you managers and team leaders and general agents, that when one of your good producers goes into a slump, the less you talk about their production and the more you talk about their purpose, the sooner you'll pull them out of that slump. And guys, the reason for that is because once a person learns our deal, if they're not producing, it's typically not a skill issue. It's a will issue. Okay. For those of you that are brand new, that are going to Sales Academy the next few weeks, you're going to have a bunch of skill issues when you first start. Promise, because it's new. After a month or so, you're going to have the skills, and you're going to be making sales along the way too. So don't worry about that. But after that, once you've developed those skills, if you're not producing at a green out level, a 5,000 a week level, it's a will issue. You're not going to work or not focusing at work. Many people whom I've discussed the common denominator of success have said at this point, but I have a family to support, and I have to make a living for my family and myself. Isn't that enough purpose? Guys, and this is strong right here. No, it isn't. It isn't a significantly strong enough purpose to make you form the habit of doing things you don't like to do, for the very simple reason that it's easier to adjust ourselves to the hardships of a poor living than it is to adjust ourselves to the hardships of making a better one. If you doubt me, just think of all the things that you're willing to go without in order to avoid doing the things you don't like to do. God, this is about the point where if you ever heard a person get discouraged and you're talking to them and they say things like, well, money's not everything. That's a person that doesn't want to go out and do something, and they're willing to give they and their family a lower level lifestyle to avoid doing stuff they don't like to do. All of which seems to prove that the strength which holds you to your purpose is not your own strength, but the strength of the purpose itself. Now let's see why habit, guys, this is another huge part. Let's see why habit belongs so importantly in the common denominator of success. We're going deep here, guys. And by the way, we're over halfway done, just so you know on the timing. Men are creatures of habit, just as machines are creatures of momentum. For habit is nothing more or less than momentum translated from the concrete into the abstract. Can you picture the problem that would face our mechanical engineers if there was no such thing as momentum? Speed would be impossible, because the highest speed at which any vehicle could be moved would be the first speed at which it broke away from a complete standstill. 0.5 miles per hour, boop, that's it. Elevators would not be made to rise, airplanes could not be made to fly, and the entire world of mechanics would find itself in a total state of helplessness. Then who are you and I to think that we can do with our own human nature what the finest engineers in the world can't do with the finest machinery ever built? Pretty brazen for us to think that that habit isn't that important, right? It is. It's everything. Every single qualification for success is acquired through habit. Men and women form habits, and habits form their futures. If you don't deliberately form good habits, then unconsciously you will form bad ones. There is no neutral. You're the kind of person you are because you form the habit of being that kind of person. And the only way you can change it is through habit. And guys, I heard a long time ago, the only way to get rid of a bad habit is to replace it with a new and good habit, purposefully. The success habits in supplemental insurance selling are divided into 4 main groups: prospecting habits, calling habits, selling habits, and working habits. I would encourage you to jot these down. Let's discuss these groups in that order. Any successful supplemental insurance salesperson will tell you it's easier to sell supplemental insurance to people who don't want it than it is to find people who want it. You guys ever notice that people that want it are people that already have cancer? People that want a heart plan are people that already had a stroke or a heart attack. People that want an accident plan just had a broken leg and they're hoping it'll pay them some money immediately. People that want our coverage don't qualify for it. Okay. It's people that don't want it that we have to learn how to sell to. So if you've not deliberately formed the habit of prospecting for needs, regardless of their wants, then you've unconsciously formed the habit of limiting your prospecting to people who want supplemental insurance. And therein lies the one and only reason for lack of prospects. As to calling habits, unless you've deliberately formed the habit of calling on people who are able to buy but unwilling to listen, then you've formed the habit of calling on people who are willing to listen but unable to buy. You guys, people with no money, they'll listen to you all day long because they got nothing to lose. Whatever, come on in, I'll listen to you all day, let's talk. They got all the time in the world because they got no money. People with money don't want to listen because they're busy making money. Okay. As to selling habits, unless you have deliberately formed the habit of calling on prospects determined to make them see their reasons for buying supplemental insurance, then unconsciously you've formed the habit of calling on prospects in a state of mind of which you're willing to let them make you see their reasons for not buying it. It's been said on every sales call, a sale gets made, guys. Either you sell them why they need it and they get a policy, or they sell you on their excuse and you buy it. Are you buying more out there or are you selling more? As to working habits, if you take care of all the other 3 groups, the working habits will generally take care of themselves, because under working habits are in things like including study and preparation. That's using our sharpening the saw episodes, using our YouTube channel, reading your success manual, organization of time and efforts, creating your weekly VPF. Okay, records, analysis, tracking yourselves. After you create those goals, are you tracking your goals each week? Certainly, you're not going to take the trouble to learn interest arousing approaches and sales talks unless you're going to use them. You're not going to plan your day's work and then when you know in your heart that you're not going to carry out your plans. And you're certainly not going to keep an honest record of things you haven't done or results you haven't achieved. So let's not worry so much about the 4th group of success habits, for if you take care of the first 3, most of the working habits will take care of themselves, and you can be able to afford a secretary to take care of the rest of them for you. secretary would be like a 1940s term. They would say personal assistant now to take care of those things. But before you decide to adopt these success habits, let me warn you of the importance of habit to your decision. Note-taking part. I've attended many sales meetings and sales congresses during the past 10 years, and I've often wondered why, in spite of the fact that there's so much good in them, so many men and women seem to get so little lasting good out of them. Perhaps you've attended a sales meeting in the past, got all fired up and you're going to take on the world, and you've left determined to do the things that'll make you successful or more successful, only to find your decision or determination waning at just the time when it needs to be put into effect or practice, which is when you're sitting in your car and there's the business, right? Here's the answer. Any resolution or decision you make is simply a promise to yourself, which isn't worth a tinker's damn. I love that saying, a tinker's damn, unless you form the habit of making it and keeping it. And you won't form the habit of making it and keeping it unless right from the start you link it with a definite purpose that can be accomplished by keeping it. In other words, any resolution or decision you make today has to be made again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and so on. And it only has to be made it not only has to be made each day, but it has to be kept each day. For if you miss one day in the making and keeping of it, you got to go back and start all over again. But if you continue the process of making it each morning and keeping it each day, keeping that promise to yourself, you'll finally wake up some morning, a different person in a different world, and you'll wonder what happened to you in the world that you used to live in. Here's what happened. Your resolution or decision has become a habit, and you don't have to make it on this particular morning. And the reason you're seeming like a different person living in a different world lies in the fact that for the first time in your life, you've become master of yourself and master of your likes and dislikes by surrendering to your purpose in life. Guys, I hope you're jotting this stuff down. That's why behind every success, there must be a purpose. And that's what makes purpose so important to your future. From the last analysis, your future is not going to depend on economic conditions or outside influences or circumstances over which you have no control. Your future is going to depend on your purpose in life. So let's wrap this up by talking about purpose. First of all, your purpose must be practical and not visionary. Some time ago, I talked to a man who thought he had a purpose, which was more important to him than income. He was interested in the sufferings of his fellow man, and he wanted to be placed in a position to alleviate that suffering. But when he analyzed his real feeling, we discovered, and he admitted to it, that what he really wanted was a nice job dispensing charity with other people's money and being well paid for doing it, along with the appreciation and feeling of importance that would naturally go with such a job. You know, a millionaire philanthropist, sign me up for that. But in making your purpose practical, be careful not to make it logical. Make it a purpose of the sentimental or emotional type. Okay, remember, needs are logical while wants and desires are sentimental and emotional. We talked about this a little bit earlier, guys, about the difference between needs and wants. Your needs will push you just so far, but when your needs are satisfied, they stop pushing you. Okay, guys, if all you need is a 800 square foot apartment and a Yugo or Geo Metro like I drove in college, that's all you need. Basic stuff, food, you know. But if you want more, if you want that house on the hill, you want that Lexus, I'm just throwing out it, you know, then that's a need. That's a want, not a need. If, however, your purpose is in terms of wants and desires, then your wants and desires will keep pushing you long after your needs are satisfied and until your wants and desires are fulfilled. Recently, I was talking to a young man who long ago discovered the common denominator of success without identifying his discovery. He had a definite purpose in life, and it was definitely a sentimental or emotional purpose. He wanted his boy to go through college without having to work his way through as he had done. He wanted to avoid for his little girl the hardships which his own sister had to face in her childhood. And he wanted his wife and the mother of his children to enjoy the luxuries and comforts and even necessities which he had been denied his own mother. And he was willing to form the habit of doing things he didn't like to do in order to accomplish this purpose. Love this part here. Not to discourage him, but rather to have him encourage me. I said to him, aren't you taking this going a little too far with this thing? There's no logical reason why your son shouldn't be willing and able to work his way through college just as his father did. Of course, he'll miss many of the things that you missed in your college life, and he'll probably have heartaches and disappointments. But if he's any good, he'll come through in the end just as you did. And there's no logical reason why you should slave in order that your daughter may have things which your own sister wasn't able to have, and in order that your wife can enjoy comforts and luxuries that she wasn't used to before she married you. He looked at me with a rather a pitying look and said, Mr. Gray, there's no inspiration in logic. There's no courage in logic. There's not even happiness in logic. There's only satisfaction. The only place logic has in my life is the realization that the more I'm willing to do for my wife and children, the more I shall be able to do for myself. Imagine, after hearing that story, you won't have to be told how to find your purpose or how to identify it or how to surrender to it. If it's a big purpose, you'll be big in its accomplishment. If it's an unselfish purpose, you'll be unselfish in accomplishing it. And if it's an honest purpose, you'll be honest and honorable in the accomplishment of it. But as long as you live, don't ever forget that while you may succeed beyond your fondest hopes and your greatest expectations, you will never succeed beyond the purpose to which you're willing to surrender. And furthermore, your surrender will not be complete until you form the habit of doing the things that failures and successful people, by the way, don't like to do. The end. Guys, this has gone long. I got time for 2 or 3 comments. If anybody had something that just jumped off the page and made them go, damn, that's strong, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I got one, Van.
Brian.
Good stuff. I mean, I've been around for 5.5 years, so we've been exposed to this a lot. And like you said originally, I mean, you always have different takeaways, but just the whole theme on purpose. It's not enough just to work hard, but you really have to have a why, a reason why you're doing it. And that will always stand out to me, just not only for myself, but especially in building and helping other agents achieve their goals. If things aren't going the right way for them, really just tap into their why. What is the reason why you're doing this? So that's it for me.
Right on. That's strong.
Hey, Van, I kind of struck me when you were talking about the purpose, actually attaching that to something emotional as opposed to logic. And it just brings to mind, there are so many folks out there that will find a way to get what they want over what they need. Whether it be a new phone, the newest, latest, greatest gadget on the market, but it's because it's emotional. It's not something that they need, they want.
Right on. Thank you, Greg, for that.
I really like the part they're going through about how you're not going to be honest in keeping your records. You're not going to be truthful about it. If you feel in your heart you're not going to accomplish it. Like if you're doing your goal card, you're just writing the cute little number in. It's not going to mean anything if your heart knows that you're not planning on actually doing it. I really that part got me. And this is my you reading it's the 3rd time I've gone through it, but that's the thing that got me the most.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
Van, hey, this is Mary Lou. I'm new to the Schneider team. And and I just wanted to say hello to everyone. But the thing that is blowing my mind about this work is I'm a social worker by training, and I've worked with families who have loved ones that have had cancer, and I've worked with family after family after family whose lives have been decimated by cancer, not the cancer itself, but the financial implications. So I'm just so excited. Like, I really feel like I've won the lottery because I feel like I'll be able to match my why, like my professional why, with this company. And it's just so exciting.
Right on. Thanks for sharing that, Marilee. We're excited to be in business with you. Sarah, you too. Thanks for sharing. Well, guys, listen, I appreciate all of you hopping on. I know we went a little bit long today. We try to keep this thing closer to 30, but then, man, every now and then we just get some good stuff and keep going for an hour. But guys, let's just remember the reason why, behind why we do what we do, and the unbelievable value of the service that we provide for families. And I'll end up on this this note here. This is actually, I take that back. That's a testimonial that I read on Monday, so I won't bore you with reading that again. I thought I had another one queued up here too, but I don't. So guys, let's just go out there and let's be helpful. Let's serve others. Actually, I tell you what, I will share with you one of my fave IRAs from my deal here. This one is actually from Rick Davis, who used both our ICU plans and our accident plan. He's actually a client of mine, lives in Clayton, North Carolina, and met him when I walked into his garage. Not that he owned, but he was an employee at a small garage in Garner, North Carolina. We paid him $10,575, and he wrote here, "This policy should be a no-brainer for anyone who drives a car or a motorcycle. Accidents don't have to be your fault to cost you dearly. Just ask the lady who pulled out right in front of me. No one ever says I had an on purpose today. It's always unexpected. I had never had an accident in my life before this happened. I'd already received almost $8,000 from the accident plan, and I just got another $2,700 from the ICU benefit on my cancer plan. This insurance is the gift that keeps on giving. I'm really glad this policy has a refund benefit. I've seen plans like this offered at work, but always passed because I didn't want to risk losing money. I signed up for this hoping it would just be the savings account I always meant to start. I'm pretty sure I would not have signed up without the money back feature." So guys, that's just an example of somebody that saw what we did, saw the value. We answered his objections, went into it, making sure that our reasons for him getting covered were stronger than his reasons for not. And he got protected in his time of need. We were there with over $10,000 of coverage that really helped he and his family out. And I remember sitting down with him and asking him to write this back in 2008. It's been a long time. I think it was 2007. I asked for his help, and it was another several months before we got this back. But at any rate, we got it back. And so, guys, we say it all the time, and it's so true. We've been so very blessed. Let's remind ourselves of our blessings. Now let's go forth and be a blessing for somebody else today. Thanks, guys. God bless. Appreciate all you do. Talk soon.